We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And the major thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today.
Live right here on SportsGrid, it is Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you live from the Decisions Desk on this Wednesday night as we have plenty to go through over these next 90 minutes. The NBA looks like it's going to be taking center stage on this Wednesday. Yesterday, the big news in the NBA was Nico Harrison fired, the Dallas Mavericks general manager responsible for the trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. The big return was Anthony Davis. We spoke about it yesterday here on this show that Anthony Davis was now very likely going to be traded. There have been more and more reports that have come out from this situation. We have seen some suggest that AD and his representation, Clutch, Rich Paul, will talk with Dallas about a potential trade. There's been word that Nico Harrison was trying to force AD back, despite the fact that Mavs team doctors were saying he has a calf strain. This could lead to him tearing his Achilles, which is insane. And we've then seen other reporting come out, this of Tim McMahon of ESPN, that now the Mavs owner, Patrick Dumont, is going to be the one to give Anthony Davis the green light to return, which sounds off even more alarms that they are not going to have any level of injury risk here for AD. And again, his potential trade, I believe, looms large over the NBA's futures market. The Mavericks are in action tonight as they play the piping hot Phoenix Suns. The Suns, a road favorite, as they've won 3 straight heading into this game. They are now actually above 500 this year. The Mavs have been a bit more competitive over their last 2. I will say we often hear about a head coach fired bump. I don't know if there's such thing as a GM fired bump, but I imagine the building will be a bit more joyous tonight in Dallas following Harrison's exit. Other important action on the slate tonight, well, look no further than the player traded away as Luka Doncic is in a primetime spot up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, an 8 to 8.5 point underdog here against an 11-1 OKC team who are on the second leg of a back-to-back. This one here will be, I believe, a bit of a market shifter. You look at the NBA's MVP odds. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still sits atop that market at under 2-1. It is Luka Doncic, though, with the second best price. I think Shea could shorten his number a bit with a dominant performance. I think Luka could become a co-favorite in the market if the Lakers pull off the upset here tonight. If they are able to do that and hand OKC their second loss, it would not go just a long way when we talk about the MVP market. I think it would shift the Lakers' odds throughout the board. Sticking in Los Angeles, one other headline that we saw in the NBA today, Bradley Beal, done for the season. A fractured hip is now going to have him sidelined for the remainder. You do have the Los Angeles Clippers playing tonight against the Denver Nuggets. This number continuing to move throughout the day towards Denver. I've played this game already. Spoiler, it's gone a little bit against me here as the Nuggets are on a back-to-back. Nikola Jokic last night, your king of the court, got there on just points and rebounds alone. 35-15, chipped in 7 assists. He was a smooth 16 of 19 from the field in another dominant win over the Sacramento Kings. If you're not betting the NBA tonight but want to get some hoops, you do have a couple of ranked teams in action. Tennessee against North Florida. North Florida continuing to play top-level teams in the SEC as they opened actually against the Florida Gators, who avoided an upset yesterday with an in-state matchup once again playing Florida State. Houston's going to have to try and avoid a scare against Oakland, who put a real scare into Purdue. That was a close game, tied at the half, close deep into the second half. Purdue, a 31.5-point favorite, only won the game by 10. Houston tonight, though, still a 30.5-point favorite. Other college action available here on this Wednesday night. It is Maction, of course. You did see Maction yesterday. Kent State barking in overtime. They upset Akron and get their fourth win of the year. A huge win for Western Michigan at home against Ohio. It's 3 games in the MAC tonight. Buffalo goes to Central Michigan as a slight dog, looking to go up to a 5-1 record in the MAC. Winless UMass is catching just under double digits against Northern Illinois at home. And then it is Miami of Ohio, who are also looking to move to 5-1 in MAC play. They will host Toledo. Toledo booked as the road favorite in this matchup. Other football items to watch. It is a Wednesday here on Game Time Decisions. That means we have our target player props for you. 5 made the cut looking towards Week 11 in the National Football League, which does, of course, begin tomorrow with the Jets and the Patriots. There are a number of key spots that have come across, a couple of touchdown scores, a QB look as well, and also featuring a little bit of some of the biggest games this weekend. We've talked about the big game between Kansas City and Denver. The big game between the MVP candidates and Darnold and Stafford, with the Rams hosting the Seahawks. And then Sunday night football, it is the Eagles and the Lions. And despite Philadelphia being 7-2, currently the 1 seed, favorites in the game, A.J. Brown won't stop. A.J. Brown finds himself on a Madden stream. Not a coincidence. Asked how he's doing. Aside from things in the house doing pretty well, everything else is a blank show. And encouraged fantasy owners of A.J. Brown to trade him. A.J. Brown, quite frankly, we could use in target player props every single week. He fits the billing, over or under. A.J. Brown, though, it's not a mystery at this point. A.J. Brown is miserable in Philadelphia. And I got to imagine for a lot of Eagles, miserable to be around. I get it, 13 yards for a player of his caliber has to be tough. But when you go into a 2-game window where you have over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and hit the bye, you missed a game. If you're A.J. Brown, you would think maybe that was an opportunity to clear the mind, clear the head. Exact opposite. Came back the exact same, saying the same stuff. And for Philly, and A.J. Brown, who openly talked about the world where he was traded at the deadline, That is a ringing endorsement against A.J. Brown. The Eagles, if they moved him at the deadline, would have not been getting anything back to make them better, as they are an obvious Super Bowl high-level contender. That the goal would just be getting rid of A.J. Brown, which they will do this offseason. A.J. Brown will be traded. The question becomes, is all of this going to sidetrack Philly at any point? And are there going to be some moments where the smart move is to bet over A.J. Brown props or listen to him and continue to trade him? Also in NFC East news today, Jameis Winston, thank goodness, is going to start for the New York Giants. It would be nice if Jackson Dart could start. We hope that, he continues to progress through concussion protocol and is back out there at some point this season. But if he is injured, there's no reason for Russell Wilson to take that field. He never should have been on this team. He never should have been the starter. And Jameis Winston adds a lot of juice and potentially puts a little bit of fear into the Green Bay Packers, who go on the road. We will talk a little bit tonight about that job opening with the New York Giants and where the market is trending on who could become their next head coach. But we are coming up against our first break here on this Wednesday night. Let's get into the hoops card here. Great night of NBA, a little bit of college. It's next right here with Best Bets after the break on Game Time Decisions. We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
No, but the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he could turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF
Oh, is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to
Keep
nothing.
that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions on a Wednesday night. We've got ourselves a pretty loaded slate in the NBA. We've got best bets coming to you from the association, but a little peek even on the Maction side. Let's not run from it. Let's put these on the board here as we try and get you settled in to this night. Now, the Maction pick does not come. Here's an upset already for our guy Sam Yarnell. That comes from Casino Chris. UMass first half team total over 7.5 plus 134. Listen, I don't blame him for not backing this team on a side. We saw that last week on the show. It was electric, although not a winner, but it was electric. Maybe this offense can get going a little bit here, though, against Northern Illinois, who gave up 42 points in their most recent outing. Now, that was Toledo, million times better than UMass, but we're going to root it in nonetheless. Bulls money line for AJ against Detroit. Chicago going to close as a decent favorite here despite no Josh Giddey. Big injury report for the Pistons, headlined by both Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren being out for this game. Yarnell goes to Carlton Carrington, a.k.a. Bub Carrington, as the Wizards catch a gazilli from the Houston Rockets. This thing's up to 17 and a half. My, oh my. The Rockets at 6-3 look to hand the Wizards what would be their 10th straight loss. 12 games into the season. Come on, Washington. Come on, man. It wasn't supposed to look like this. I understand. Listen, I know they hung. They showed a little bit of life against Detroit. I got you. 10 straight. 12 games in. That's not great. That's not great at all. And by the way, you might say to yourself, oh, they have one win. Who'd they beat? Nico Harrison. You wonder why you don't have a job, pal. The Mavericks on the road, in fact. My best bet tonight's in what I think is the biggest game on this slate. I like the Lakers plus the points here, and I like them quite a bit. I'm a little surprised by this number. I really am. Oklahoma City is on a back-to-back. We have seen back-to-backs be priced in all year long to each and every game. And it's impacted the Thunder. They played a back-to-back earlier this year against Sacramento at home. They laid 8.5 in that game. They won only by 6. Comfy cover for the Kings. They played a back-to-back on the road against Portland, and that was their lone loss of the season, despite a 20-point lead at the end of the first quarter. So this team now 0-2 against the number when playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, lay as many, if not more, points than they did yesterday against a Warriors team who is flatly not as good as this Lakers team. The Warriors are in a bit of free fall. They have now, after starting 4-1, found themselves 6-6 and are struggling massively. They got rolled by the Thunder yesterday. You guys know I liked OKC in that game. I didn't play them, admittedly, but I didn't think that was too many points. I thought that was fair, but I think the Lakers are better. And then you factor in home court. It should be 5. This is way too many points here against Luka and the Lakers, who will be looking for a statement. This is a team who right now is looking to enter that conversation with Denver and Houston as the truest threats to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, they may never be able to fully establish themselves in that class until LeBron is all the way back, but Luka Doncic last year with the Lakers had some big games against OKC. I expect another big one here tonight. We talk about the MVP implications. I like Luka and the Lakers to hang and maybe upset OKC in the biggest game on this slate tonight. Let's go back to the earlier portions of this slate here. I'm going to back the 3-7 Charlotte Hornets on the money line. You'll notice this a little bit more. I'm going to be doing this just to see how I feel with some of these shorter numbers. Betting basketball, it's much different than the NFL, where every number, I think, is key and feels like it makes a difference. I'm going to be on Hornets money line tonight, one of 2 money line dogs, as the Milwaukee Bucks go to war without Giannis Antetokounmpo. So it is very hard to overstate the gap between Giannis and the rest of this roster. It's why I backed Giannis in the MVP market this year, and he's certainly given it as much of a chance as he's going to be able to. He's in that conversation. The Bucks have played once without Giannis, and they upset Golden State. We see that happen. I think that's what gets us a better number here. I don't think the Bucks should be road favorites against a Hornets team here who's going to be ready to snap a win streak. I'm going to back Charlotte on the money line at plus 120. And like I said, I got a bad number. I already said this off the top of the show. That's okay. I'm on the Clippers money line. Now, I'm in at plus 140. You can get plus 175 in the market right now. And that's the thing, right? Like, we keep it very real on this show. I got the worst of the number. Perhaps some of the reason the number has shifted the way that it has is Denver's on a back-to-back, which is why the Clippers jump out a little bit here for me tonight. There are some guys on the injury report for Denver, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray. Maybe the shorter number didn't think they would play. Now maybe the book thinks they will play. I think this is a snap-the-streak spot for the Clippers. This team has lost 5 straight games, but they are better than this, okay? They are. They're supposed to be, and I think Harden's playing well, and I think Zubac can give Jokic, if anybody can, a little bit of trouble, a little bit of a slowdown. We had a great series between these teams last year in the opening round of the playoffs. I think the Clippers are plenty live. Now, I will say, because this happened yesterday, and it didn't work out, double loser, it is what it is. We can get into that another time. But there comes a point where a number could get a little too tall, right? With Kentucky yesterday against Louisville. Look, we didn't have a great chance at winning the game. We did have a chance at the cover, even if we didn't get there. This number at 5.5 now in some spots. I mean, if we get up to 6.5, 7, I'm going to have to look Denver's way. Or excuse me, I'm going to have to look the Clippers' way on top of that money line play. And in the college basketball world here, I'm going to back North Florida. We're getting like a point or two more than when they played Florida. You guys know what I think of the Gators. But a huge gap in tempo. Tennessee, one of the slowest teams in the country. I think it'll be hard to cover that number. Give me North Florida plus 42. Continue to follow this board after the break right here on SportsGrid. We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Oh, is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to nothing.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Newman's pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on a Wednesday night on SportsGrid. We will go through our 6, not 5, a bonus one for you, 6 target player props for this coming week in the National Football League. At the top of the hour, 5 minutes time. We'll get to that right here on SportsGrid. We got a really good list for you. We'll have Tom Vecchio join in the show as well to get his insight as to what he sees some value in and some of the numbers that we're going to talk about. We've also got Cam Stewart stopping by in about 15 minutes time. We'll get some picks from Cam here on a pretty loaded Wednesday night. There was one pick of mine we didn't get to just yet. It's my favorite prop play on the board, and I tweeted kind of the highest end of the spectrum, if you will, on this number. With Amen Thompson here, I did throw, a little bit on the triple-double at 25-1. I don't mind a double-double play. The interesting thing, though, the double-double is expected, if it is going to come, through the rebounding market. That is the one time he has a double-double this year. He grabbed 10 boards on the season. He's averaging 6.7 rebounds a game, and that number's been climbing quite a bit over his last 6. But I like Amen Thompson over his points plus assists. Maybe the rebounds get there. Obviously, if I'm playing a triple-double, I'm hoping that that's how it plays out. But that's where I see the most value tonight on Thompson. You have to realize you will lose an NBA prop to a blowout. It'll happen a lot to you over the course of a season, right? Sometimes you don't expect it, right? Tonight is not one of those instances. If I don't get there on Amen Thompson because they're a 17.5-point favorite against the Wizards, then so be it, right? But we've seen Amen Thompson play a lot in these games unless he has foul trouble or they're up by, playing the Brooklyn Nets, really. Other than that, you're getting 30-plus minutes. So I think there's a bit of security. But I think you have a bounce-back spot in both the points market and the assist market. And that's what intrigues me, where I think he could kind of smash either number. From the points perspective, he's gone under 15 now in 2 straight games with some poor shooting efficiency. He's 10 of 25 over those 2 matchups. He's not had 3 straight games going under 15 or going under what would be a points prop tonight of 16.5 or even 17.5, the highest number. He's also now had 2 straight games with 5 or fewer assists. That has not happened in 3 straight games this season. We've not had these line up all together. So I think playing this lifeless Wizards team, we could see Amen Thompson clear this on points alone. We could see him put up a double-double via the assist market, in which case this would look, and trend towards a total smash. And maybe he gets that triple-double, which would be the high mark of this ladder here. So that's my favorite prop on the board tonight, Amen Thompson. That's how I want to play this one here. So that's where my card is, just to kind of reset for you, because I know a lot of these games are going to get off and running here at 7 o'clock. Pair of money lines, Hornets and Clippers. Amen Thompson over the 22.5 points plus assists. College game, give me North Florida plus 42. Best bet, Lakers plus 8. And then behind the scenes, they've got best bets on Bub Carrington over the 16.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Bulls money line. And then UMass, if you're betting Maction, over the first half team total of 7.5. At 7 o'clock, you do also have a game between the Knicks and the Magic. I lean Orlando's way. I think it's on the board that this team could start to turn the corner a little bit. They are almost assuredly not going to match the preseason expectations of a clear-cut 50-win team, run away with the Southeast Division, contend for a number 1 seed. But I think that the momentum off of a Desmond Bain made 3 helps a lot. Knicks are on the second leg of a back-to-back. But they're unbeaten at home. The reason I didn't bet this game, the Knicks have scored 130-plus points in 3 straight. If the Knicks have a big offensive game, I think I'm drawing dead with Orlando. But I don't want to bet the over in this game. I don't want to bet the total of this game. I think it's a tricky game. That's your first primetime game coming up at 7 o'clock. Some of the other big spots in the NBA tonight. Heat lay a big one to the Cavs. No Mobley, no Mitchell, no Garland for Cleveland. You have the Celtics laying a big number to Memphis, though John Morant looks like he's actually going to play in that one. Portland, a big road favorite against New Orleans. Almost didn't mention the Spurs and the Warriors. How about the Golden State Warriors, right? A loss tonight, under 500, and would fall to 1-7 on the road. The Golden State Warriors, if they lose to Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby off a great game. So we're going to take a break here. We come back. Target player props with a little additional insight on A.J. Brown. That's next.
we have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Game time decision. We are live right here with you on this Wednesday night. Kevin Walsh here. We have got an hour until In-Game Live takes over with a really fun slate here on this Wednesday. But we always get to our target player props, and we have 6 good ones for you, and we're going to get to all of them, okay? We can do some of them with our guy Tom Vecchio, though, because the A.J. Brown situation is one that I don't think at any point, and people can check me on this if they, I don't think I've downplayed, right? I think the Eagles, and then I think A.J. Brown, I think those are different conversations. And we did A.J. Brown as a target player prop the first installment of the season. And he justifiably, right, we've added a wrinkle this year, the over or under. We could do A.J. Brown every single week. And it would be topical because A.J. Brown has something to say every single week. Though, we talked about it a little bit, but I'm not going to play clips from the Madden stream here on the show. I think we could, but why? But A.J. Brown was interviewed today following practice. And he talked about everything going on. So here is what A.J. Brown had to say this time.
It's not just solely about my situation. I mean, guys, obviously I want to win too, and I think if we're really focusing on winning and doing our job, we can't just keep slapping the Band-Aid over the defense doing their job and getting us out of trouble. At what point are we going to pick up our slack as an offense that we're so great, and that's what I'm getting at. It's not about we're not winning or I don't care about winning. All I care about is stats. No. It's been week after week sometimes. We're not contributing. We're not doing our job on offense. So you can't just keep slapping the Band-Aid over that and you expect to win late in the year and you think you're going to go to it at the end of the year. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And last year, what it was, thank you for the ring, but it's a new season. They adapted. We have to adapt and we have to continue to get better and try to find new ways. So that's where the frustration comes in because it's not about winning, you guys. I want to win, yes. I want to help contribute as well, do our thing on offense as well. I think that's fair.
Here is the deal with A.J. Brown. Is A.J. Brown correct that the offense had a bad game against Green Bay? 100%. 100%. Has the offense had some bad games this year in wins? Also, absolutely. But is A.J. Brown being honest that this is just about the offense getting into a rhythm? Not even a little bit. The last game A.J. Brown played in, prior to Monday Night Football, Jalen Hurts had a perfect passer rating. Only one of the season. They scored 28 points. He had 4 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that, and he was still making comments. So let's be clear about what's going on. Somewhere along the way, A.J. Brown and his relationship, primarily with Jalen Hurts, but seemingly this whole situation completely fell apart. And he has not been in a good headspace with the Eagles since. He was frustrated a bit last year. He was real vocal about it in season. He made a mockery of it during the playoffs, but they won the Super Bowl. And he was honest with himself that wasn't enough. But he probably thought to himself, we're here, we're going to win a Super Bowl, it's going to be fine, everything's fine. And then game number 1, he had 1 target. And it was on like the last play of the game. And he's not been able to shake it at any point this season. Jalen Hurts had a perfect passer rating against Minnesota. They scored 28. Livid. They played Tampa, scored 31, but he had 7 yards. Livid. It's not about the offense. And it's not about wins or losses. It's not maybe even about his stat line. It's that A.J. Brown cannot stand being there anymore. And the second he has the opportunity to make that clear, he does. But he now has felt it is valid to make that clear in any situation. Win, but he doesn't do a lot, I'm not happy. Lose, but he does a ton, I'm not happy. Win and he does a lot, why haven't we been doing this all year? It's a lose, lose, lose. And that's why the Eagles and A.J. Brown had basically been open and honest that he was potentially going to be traded 8 days ago. But you now have a situation where you're here. And if you're A.J. Brown, being this public about the frustration, you've done that now for a year. Has it helped? No. So stop. Or don't. But you're only embarrassing yourself. You are only limiting your own market. That's the reality. You do have more people coming to your defense than most other wide receivers would in this situation. And that's a how people view Hurts thing. And that's just what it is. And how people probably view Sirianni. Guys, we can't just keep putting a Band-Aid on it, is what he said. Well, we can't just do this, AJ. At the end of the game, complain and be livid no matter what happens. So when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles and you look at this game against the Detroit Lions, and we're going to talk about this game in target player props, not through the A.J. Brown lens. When you look at the A.J. Brown numbers, what do? I don't know. People love narratives. It's why everybody bet Hurts rush attempts despite, getting bad numbers on Monday. And there's going to be some narratives that say, hey, let's bet AJ, they got to make him happy. Nothing's going to make him happy. Until this March, when he's on a new team. The question becomes, can the Eagles make good on their co-favorite status to win the Super Bowl while this is going on? Can the Eagles make good on their NFC favorite status while this is going on? Can they make good on their status as favorites to win against the Lions with this going on this week? We're going to find out. We are going to find out how much this situation can cause a disruption for Philadelphia. Luckily for the Eagles, they've been dealing with it for a year. So they're pretty well equipped. But it is now abundantly clear nothing will stop this from being a story after every single game the Eagles play. And that is A.J. Brown's fault. Because he had 121 yards and 2 touchdowns in a win where his quarterback had a perfect passer rating and was still pulling this garbage. That's what it's about. It's about his frustrations in Philadelphia. I know we have a lot of target player props to get to. I promise we're not false advertising. They're all here. They're all really good. But now we get the joy of doing them alongside our guy, Tom Vecchio. And we are going to talk about a wide receiver in Eagles-Lions that is worth targeting. It's not A.J. Brown, which is going to make him real upset. We'll get to that next.
We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions live with you on a Wednesday night. We bring in our guy, Tom Vecchio. Tom, always great to have you on a Wednesday night. Due to some A.J. Brown comments, usually we've already gone through target player props prior to you getting in, but we're going to go through them together. How are you here on a Wednesday night? And also, quickly, any bets on tonight's card, NBA, hockey, anything else locked in?
Yeah, I tweeted them out earlier, 2 hockey plays, Jack Hughes for a goal. That starts at 9:30, 9:45, whatever it is. And I'm on Brandon Hagel on the Lightning for over 2.5 shots. That game just got underway. Rangers just scored a goal. And I'm on the Bulls money line.
Awesome. Bulls money line is our guy AJ's best bet tonight. Tom, let's stick with Eagles-Lions. Okay,
Okay.
why not? Little straight line. I think this will speak to you quite a bit. Where Jameson Williams, over his receiving yards, looks like a clear target to me. Because I don't think books can wildly adjust. Because we've seen J-Mo have breakout games and then dip back down. But there's a change with Detroit. Their OC, John Morton, told him I failed him because he didn't get any work in the game against Tampa Bay. And then, next thing you know, Dan Campbell takes over play calling. And now over the last 2 games, Jameson Williams has 6+ targets in 2 straight. And over the last 2 years, which is about a 13-game sample size, J-Mo, Tom, averages over 80 yards per game when he sees at least 6 targets. I think he's a big target this week against Philadelphia.
He absolutely has to be. It comes down to what his line is, because more often than not, I like J-Mo for 2 things. One, his longest reception, which we know he can certainly do. But if we are truly buying into this narrative, a part of me, I'm not going to say forego his normal reception prop, but generally when J-Mo goes over, it's like, oh, wow, his prop was 49 and he had 80 yards. Oh, hang on. He's having a monster game. So I almost like him to go, an alt situation with him. It's not to say this, I'm doing this blindly. It comes down to obviously what his line is. But if he goes over it, it's not as if he's just squeaking over. Like, you give me a 59.5 line for him, theoretically, I'd almost rather take him for 70 on a play like that, because if they are looking to get him the ball in this extra effort, it's probably going to be successful.
Yeah, I think Jameson Williams is a real target, though, because like you said, Tom, they're not there yet to put him in the mid-60s, low 70s. That's where Amon-Ra is going to be. Another wide receiver who's a target for the team here is Ladd McConkey. Ladd got off to a slow start. You know this, Tom, right? There were people saying, is he wide receiver 3 on this team? Quentin Johnston break out. Keenan was eating. He's clearly wide receiver 1. He's right now back up to the top of their leaderboards when we're talking about receptions. We're talking about touchdowns. He leads this team in yards. He's the guy. And they go up against a Jacksonville team that we're now seeing struggle against number 1 wide receivers. Davis Mills and Nico Collins lit this team up for a huge game this past week. 136 yards for Nico. We've seen a lot of number 1s eat against this team. McConkey could be the next Tom.
He certainly could. The thing I would want to dive into, and I'm not arguing against it because I think Ladd McConkey is great. The thing I would want to dive into more is, Nico Collins torching them is one thing, but Nico Collins plays on the outside. So if we see Ladd, in the slot, that he's going to be facing a different corner. He's going to be facing a little different type of coverage. So, Chase playing on the outside, Tet playing on the outside. It's a little bit different than a slot receiver. What would the slot receivers production look like against the Jags in recent? So how they utilize Ladd is always important to me. Who he's going up against is always important. But I am a full supporter, and really buying in on him has always been a good idea since he started off slow. Like, the breakout games were coming.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things, right? Like, when was the best time to target Ladd McConkey, right? It was probably as all of these breakouts were emerging. But I think the Jacksonville defense, I think that's what's notable to me here, Tom, is the notion of this Jacksonville defense starting to become a bit of a fade and a bit of a team that we're going to work against. How about some rookie running backs here, though, Tom? And let's start in one of the bigger games, which is the Broncos and the Chiefs, with R.J. Harvey rushing yards. Now, because this is where we're talking about an over or an under. Listen, I'm going to try and stop you from saying what I already think you're going to say. Let's take his rushing plus receiving. I get it. They throw him the ball. I am curious what they're going to do with his rushing prop, because J.K. Dobbins has been the lead back by far all year. And Harvey has struggled to even be like a viable number 2 in terms of groundwork. And Harvey's the only guy other than Dobbins who has 5 carries on this season. And the Kansas City rush defense had a stretch where it looked super back, right? Jags couldn't run it. Lions weren't as efficient as always. Raiders were lifeless. Commanders were lifeless. James Cook lit them on fire last week for 114 yards. What would you expect from R.J. Harvey on the ground against KC?
I'm not optimistic. And it's
fair.
Again, like, if you are struggling to get work, usage that is R.J. Harvey when your offense is operating at its best, it's not like they're going to all of a sudden give him 25 carries. So I would expect him to need to be efficient on a low volume, and also some of this comes down to game script, where are we expecting a higher scoring game? Are we expecting the Broncos to be playing from behind? Because if they're playing from behind, RJ Harvey's going to see absolutely no work in the rushing game. So to me, I would almost just stay away. Like, I wouldn't even say under or stay away, just be a complete stay away. Because
what do you think they do with the number, though? The way you're describing it makes me think mid to low 40s.
I was going to say upper 30s, and it'd probably be pushed to the low 40s just because he's bound to see RB1 usage, quote unquote. But I don't have faith that he's actually going to be effective. Plus, if the Kansas City defense has actually turned things around, I'm just not going to like it.
But he's an explosive runner. Like, that number.
Okay, so then I would be like, longest rush.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Longest rush rather than yards, because you could get both, you could have one.
My thing, though, Tom, is let's just say, let's call it 42.5. Let's say that's the number. Dobbins had one game at 40. Every other game, he had at least 60.
Yeah.
I don't think you would argue Dobbins is a much better runner than RJ Harvey.
The offensive line stats would have to be. I would have to dig into some of their offensive.
It's great. I can tell you that. It's great. It's fantastic. Pass blocking is where they really thrive, right. But
I would say it's up in the air. But I'm not sold on it. I'm not rushing to the window to bet it.
But I think it depends on the number, right? And that's why we talk about it. We have another rookie running back to talk about and a passing touchdown prop that might catch your eye after the break.
We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're here with our guy Tom Vecchio on this Wednesday night, talking about some target player props heading into Week 11 of NFL action. We just did a rookie running back in RJ Harvey. Another rookie running back here that there's some potential target on. But Tom, you're a touchdown guy, so I'll kind of defer to you on this one. Woody Marks, anytime touchdown, is a consideration for the group in the back there. Now, I mean, who the opponent jumps right off of the page in terms of the Tennessee Titans. What do you think about Woody Marks and maybe this Houston backfield?
Well, I'm a Woody Marks believer. I drafted him on my dynasty team back in August, so I've been on board from the jump. Not worried about the defense on the Titans side of things. It comes down to really just what I'm expecting from the team overall. We're expecting Davis Mills, that is, back in there again. Now, obviously, they were productive last week out against the Jags. They should be able to do much of the same this week going up against the Titans. The question becomes is like, if it's a minus 130 number, I mean, they're 6.5 point road favorites. Their team total's probably in the low 20s since the total's 37.5. Titans team total is probably 16.5. What are we talking about in terms of odds, in terms of game expectation overall? If I can get plus money on it, I'll be interested. But I don't want to be laying a minus 125, minus 130 price on a game that has a 37.5 over under. The scoring expectation for the entire game is super low. I would never lay minus odds on a player in that situation. That's crazy.
One number that might be minus, I'm going to throw this at you quickly, but we do this every week. Although the Commanders are going to fight for the spot here. The number one target against the defense to score. Brock Bowers. Now, this is a Monday nighter. What do you think the Brock Bowers is going to be, considering the last time the Raiders play, they scored 7. It was Denver, and now they're playing Dallas.
If it's shorter than plus 150, I'll be surprised. We're dealing with he's never going to be plus 110. He's never going to be minus 110. He's always going to be in that 130, 140, 150 range. And that's just the way it goes. We're not going to see the books move too much because they're also banking on just offensive inefficiency. And there's a wild card being thrown that says, we don't know if Geno's going to play. It's going to be Kenny Pickett. So the books are never going to hang a super long number because that's a risk. But also putting at plus 110 is crazy, and they'll never get any action on it. Or they'll never get enough action to make it worthwhile.
Last one to throw your way, Tom. A quarterback who all of a sudden we don't know if he's going to play. We think he is.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson pops up on the injury report, doesn't practice. Again, it's a Wednesday practice. They're playing the Browns. But the Lamar injury stuff's already been weird once this year. I think his 1.5 passing touchdowns is a target. I don't think this is going to be wildly expensive because you talk about low totals. That's just what the Browns breed. But if you look at Lamar, right, as far as throwing multiple passing touchdowns, we have not seen him go consecutive games without doing that. He didn't do it against Minnesota since the first 3 weeks of 2024. You go back to his last 25 games, playoffs included, he has thrown multiple passing touchdowns in 72%. That's 18 of 25. And the Browns allow the fewest rushing touchdowns in the league. So those Derrick Henry chalk parlay pieces, I mean, maybe, but I'm not running to necessarily do that. I think Lamar over the 1.5 could be a target, Tom. If we get something south of minus 130, 125, I know that might be a little pricey for you, but for Lamar, I don't think that would be bad.
So a part of my handicap with this and really just going forward with Lamar and the Ravens is a part of me, it's a divisional matchup. They you like to be your rivals, all these sorts of things. But a part of me thinks that the Ravens want to run up the score because they need the internal team morale to stay high. They need to be like, hey, we're back kind of situation. So them running up the score and Lamar having 2 or 3 when maybe he doesn't need to, or they're just like, hey, we're actually going to go for it here, and we're going to show you that we still are a great team. I almost want to incorporate some of that because them putting pedal to the metal in every single game has to be something that is talked about and is accounted for considering where they are and where their season has been. They need to stay involved. They need to stay, we're the best team. We have a great offense, and we can show everyone this despite the struggles that we had.
Yeah, I really like that take. I think their identity is destroying teams. And I want, it's funny, but people talk about kind of when a QB can vulture touchdowns. Lamar's thrown 5 touchdowns since he came back. 3 of them have been 3 yards or fewer. And only 1 was more than 10 yards. So something to watch. Tom, great stuff as always. We're back with you right here, updating the live board on a Wednesday night on SportsGrid.
we have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions back with you guys right here on a Wednesday night. We did just get news out of Major League Baseball that Paul Skeens, not yet, Tariq Skubal has won the American League Cy Young. I assume the Paul Skeens announcement will come soon, but you do end up seeing Skubal winning again. That's back-to-back years. Garrett Crochet second, Hunter Brown third. That feels like that's an upset. I'd have to look into it more. We're not at the point, and who knows, we may never be, but where we're, able to bet top 3 finish, top 5 finish, things of that nature in awards. That feels like an upset, though. That Hunter Brown, he was in the mix, don't get me wrong, but that caught me off like a little bit. A little bit. I want to update the live board, and then we're going to get into some other stuff here. We are early into the college football slate, but it is MACtion, so you got to keep tabs on it. I know people always get excited to get involved. Northern Illinois rocking UMass early, no surprise there, but still time left. Central Michigan up 7-3 on Buffalo, scoreless with about 4 minutes left in Toledo, Miami of Ohio. College basketball, the Tennessee game against North Florida has started. Great start for North Florida. They had this as a 2-point game with under 6 minutes to go in the first half. They're down 11 right now, but when you're catching a zilly, that's fine. Things are at a good spot there with Tennessee. That is the only ranked game that is going on right now. Where else might people be betting? James Madison, just for vibes. South Florida for vibes. Indiana's playing Milwaukee. Vatek, St. Joe's. Nothing crazy, though. Nothing crazy. The Ice tonight, Tom mentioned he had a couple of picks. The Rangers are going right now. They're going to take a 3-1 lead. They do have a 3-1 lead, on Tampa Bay. Those are 3 pretty quick goals for the Rangers. We have the Oilers coming up in a couple of moments against the Flyers. Late night, Buffalo is going to be playing the Mammoth, and then you get the Devils and the Blackhawks there, as Bedard and Chicago are a slight home dog against Jack Hughes, the Utah Mammoth, up against the Buffalo Sabres. Every time I look at that, I'm like, I know it's the Utah Mammoth. I'm like, I don't say it. What if it's not? But I know it is. Like, what if it's not? NBA-wise, at the end of the first quarter, it's an 8-point Charlotte Hornets lead. We love to see that. That's a 35-27 current score. 3-point shooting is doing pretty well right now, actually, for Milwaukee, and that's what's keeping them afloat in this one. Leading all scorers, the none other, Ryan Kalkbrenner, who was questionable for this game, but he's got 9 early ones. We are about to button up the opening quarter here with Detroit up 11. Wow, on the Chicago Bulls. It's a good start for the Pistons, but it's a long game. We'll see if it can continue. Duncan Robinson with 4 made threes already in this one. The Magic are doing the thing. They're up 5. Why? Their defense. They're keeping the Knicks in check right now. Jalen Brunson has 11. The rest of the Knicks have 7. In this basketball game. He is the only Knick to make more than 1 field goal right now. Then again, that's same exact stat is true on the Magic side. Desmond Bane, the only player in Orlando to make more than 1 field goal. Let's stick in New York, as we saw Brian Dable fired earlier this week. Brian Dable is someone you're going to, I think, hear a little bit about. I think despite the firing, despite the end, Brian Dable ultimately has too many ties to Josh Allen, I think, to not hear his name. And he's going to end up probably an offensive coordinator at minimum, somewhere high level. But who is going to take over this job for the Giants? Well, we know the prediction markets are always kind of, they're quick finds, right? These are good ways to get involved with these. And they have an interesting little setup here over on Kalshi for the Giants head coaching market. Mike McCarthy out in front. Clint Kubiak not far behind. The gap there in excitement you would get from Giants fans could not be bigger. If they hire Mike McCarthy, people will be absolutely distraught. If they hire Clint Kubiak, I think there will be a lot of excitement. I was talking to someone yesterday who said that, they are under the impression the working plan could actually be hiring an overseer, and that's why there weren't wholesale changes made with Joe Shane on the move or, not on the move. Mike Kafka, can he keep the job as at least offensive coordinator maybe with the head coach opening? I mean, weird stuff. Really, really weird stuff from the New York Giants and how this coaching search is going to go. Maybe Lisi's not crazy throwing Bill Belichick out there. Maybe he's not. I mean, I think the Giants would be crazy. That I'm not changing an opinion on. But maybe Lisi's not. Maybe. If that's what this team is after, I'll posit this question to Giants fans primarily. Option A, option B. Option A, Mike McCarthy. Option B, Bill Belichick. Which do you pick? Both not great. You make the decision. The Giants, by the way, did announce Jameis Winston is going to get the start against the Green Bay Packers. And this makes for one of the, I think, most anticipated backup QB starts in what feels like recent memory. Because the Green Bay Packers cannot lose this game. It will feel like, that's what DEFCON 5, DEFCON 1. I don't know which DEFCON's worse. Whichever is worse, it'll be that one. If you lose a third straight where your defense, right, was great in each of the first 2 losses, and now you're playing Jameis and you lose. And here's the thing, though. The defense, this happens with great defenses. They have 2 straight games of excellent play, and then all of a sudden, you're playing a backup quarterback, and you expect the defense to be at a crazy high level, and they slip up, and now it's all on the offense. And Jameis Winston absolutely has it in him to throw for 303 on Green Bay. He also absolutely could struggle to throw for 150 yards, complete less than 55% of his passes, and throw 3 picks. That is also very much so on the board. This is the crazy thing, though. The world where Jameis is terrible and the Packers win. Good for Green Bay. Doesn't change much. The upcoming slate for them, Vikings, Lions, Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. That's the rest. So this is the gotta-have-it spot for Green Bay. The world where they lose this game, I don't know, Micah Parsons trade request part 2? Odds to make the playoffs pick? I don't know. Things get really weird in Green Bay. If they lose and Jameis Winston can make any game really weird. I'm not going to do the cute thing, it's the biggest game of the weekend. No. There's huge games. Eagles, Lions, Broncos, Chiefs, Rams, Seahawks. But Jameis Winston upsetting the Packers, would it upstage those games? Again, not really, right? You got the MVP battle between Darnold and Stafford. A.J. Brown's going to throw a fit no matter what the Eagles do against the Lions. The Chiefs might be 500. But, man, if Jameis Winston can do it, would be something. Let's talk to Cam Stewart about this and a lot more after the break on SportsGrid.
We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
We are live with you on a Wednesday night on SportsGrid, and we've got ourselves a treat. Cam Stewart here with us as always. Pretty loaded Wednesday night, Cam. We are looking forward towards a hopefully fun week of NFL action. We're coming off of what was a interesting week of NFL action, finished off with that Packers-Eagles game. How are you, my friend?
Great game, Kev. I was doing a live stream that night. Here's the comment. This game sucks. What happened to the Eagles? Packers offense blows. 0-0 at the half? Excellent. I had these 37 total points in my tiebreaker at the local tavern. Your old man can appreciate. So at 0-0 at the half, I'm like, yes, keep it coming. Kevin, the best was we rode the under all night. And I go, guys, I'm going to do something even stupider than I usually do. Can we get an under 17.5 live as the last bet that I clicked? 7-10-7 final. It was just one of those magical nights, Kev. Then I go to the bar. But my problem is this. When I win the $800, I have a rule. If you're in the pool, I buy you a drink. But you have to show up. You know what the problem was? They all did it behind my back. Everybody in the pool showed up. I dropped $200 at the bar instead of like $20. I go, you guys, it's funny. The 1 week I'm there, it's one drink. Everyone shows up. Let's screw Cam. That's the best. But it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. Hey, got to stick by my word, Kev. I got to tell you, though, that game was horrible. You'd be a little bit concerned if you're the Eagles. I know they're saving Barkley. The Packers have looked very, very bad the last 2 weeks, but you're right.
Yeah.
What is Jameis Winston going to do to answer your question when before break?
Yeah.
Exactly that. Throw touchdowns and throw pick sixes. I've had this guy in situations before where you're going to win money and no lead is safe, no spread is safe. But if the Packers don't show up this week, when are they going to show up? A lot of concern, but I'm jacked up for this Rams-Seahawks game. And Kevin, just a quick tip, because I'm not going to talk to you, your old man, or anybody else at the end of the week, and Gable go over this all week. It's Grey Cup, the Canadian Football League Championship this Sunday. The line on some spots has gone up. Saskatchewan 4. People, if you like the underdog in Montreal, take the 4 now. It's not going to go any better. Like, that is the line, I think, will close 3. So if you want a little bit of line value, I'm on Saskatchewan. Gabe's on Montreal in this game. But if you like the dog and the Alouettes and a quarterback, Davis Alexander, who has never lost a Canadian Football League start, you're getting 4. Total 48.5. So, Kev, I got the Seahawks and Rams at 4 Eastern, and then we roll right into the Grey Cup. I am so jacked for Sunday, brother. Nice haircut, by the way. I got one, too. With my,
you look
with my
good.
Pool monies. Thank you. Yeah,
Hey,
that's what you get.
Do you think
Shampoo,
any
Yep.
CFL teams could make A.J. Brown happy? You think any of those teams could throw him the ball enough to get him to all the...
That'll never be happy. You can win a Grey Cup. What the hell's this? You know what I mean? Super Bowl. Okay, move on. I got to be honest with you. Like, I just hate the fact that, drop me on my fantasy team and stuff. And that's what I'm really happy with Seattle this year, Kev, because they have a great team chemistry. Like, Cooper Kupp is helping JSN, who's helping Torrey Horton. The defense all like each other. 2 defensive touchdowns, 28-0 lead against the Cardinals. It's like, I'm watching this team going, they like each other. They like the coach. There's no drama. Sam Darnold's doing his thing. He doesn't have to have great numbers. They have a running game with Charbonneau and Walker. People are like, oh, look at his numbers. They're not good in fantasy. Yeah, because they have huge leads in games, and he doesn't need to throw there, pal. Like, he'll throw. I'm not worried about this, Kevin. I know everyone's waiting for the shoe to drop. We'll see this week against a very, very good Rams team. I will take Seattle plus the 3 as it's gone from 2.5 to 3 in that spot. Not a homer pick. We've been on these guys. They're covering numbers. Kevin, they're great on the road as well. Like, one of the best.
They are.
They cover every week on the road. They win. They won 11. Like, and on the road, all they do is win. So I prefer them to be on the road, Kevin.
But let me just say this, and listen, you can tell me if you think this is unfair. I think this is. Sam Darnold last year was brilliant.
Yes.
And then the biggest games of the year, he was bad. This is a monster game. So if he plays well here, I can't come on and go, wait for the playoffs. No, this is a monster game. But would you agree, Cam, that if Sam Darnold, has he maybe one bad game this season, right? Like 1.5? If Sam Darnold plays poorly, I don't think you can brush it off as one game. I think that would be a big cause of concern about a Seattle team, Cam, that is starting to get Super Bowl buzz.
I know. And the other problem is the Rams are getting Super Bowl buzz even more than Seattle.
Yeah, they are.
And they're in the same division. San Francisco's still alive. But the thing is, Kevin, you're right. It's a big game for Sam Darnold. I think he can handle the pressure. They got a great receiving core. I think going out and get Shaheed is going to be huge. They didn't use him too much against Arizona because they didn't need to. They already had a lead in that game. And the key, Stafford is number 1 against the blitz. Seattle's going to have to come up with some exotic fronts and find a way to put this guy, pin him in so he can't move, and then we'll be fine in this game. I think Darnold's going to be fine. I think JSN's going to make plays. I think the defense will be fine. I just like getting 3. And guys, you're getting line value because it doesn't matter. I prefer to bet Seattle on the road than at home anyway. They have been better recently at home, but their road record in the NFL is phenomenal, Kevin. So I'm riding. You're going to get me 3 with the Seahawks, sprinkle on the money line. Live hockey, I took your dad's Philadelphia Flyers plus 115 against Edmonton. We just dropped the puck there in Philadelphia. So, and I have golf picks on the other side too. Kevin, do you know they're still playing golf in the European Tour? It's their Tour Championship and the PGA Tour. Yeah. They're going. It's the Butterfield Bermuda Open. Oh, let's just go to Bermuda and make some more money. God, I wish I was a golfer. Every day I wake up, I go, I used to clean rich guys' clubs at the club. I used to drive the range truck. I used to shoot 70s when I was a kid. Now I can't even break 100 because I'm working man, I wish I took up golf every single day. I would love to be a pro golfer.
It's really fun, and we will do Cam's golf picks on the other side. But you'll appreciate this, Cam. We had Brady on yesterday, and we were talking through some NFL lines. And we were, in a bit of a time crunch. I'm like, Brady, is there golf this weekend? He went, oh, yeah, let me get you my picks. I was like, oh, my gosh, I thought the answer was going to be no. All right, go ahead. And he's, scrambling, looking for his paper. He's like, I didn't think you were going to ask me. I'm like, I didn't think there was golf.
On the podcast today, he's like, yeah, Cam, the only guys who work hard as MMA guys, those damn golfers, they never take a week off. I go, there's an MMA card every week and a golf card every week.
It
Same
really
to
is.
me, Kevin. If you want to bet on something, we can find a way. But they're actually a really big tournament in Europe this week, and the boys from the PGA Tour in Bermuda. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I got some picks, and they went really, really well last week. Because I remember on the show, we talked about Ben Griffin, and my Derek Higgo almost won the tournament. And old Eric Cole, who Wetzel's like, hey, Cam, are you taking that loser again? No, he finished in the top 10, and we had him top 20 plus 210, and top 10 at 8-1. So come on, Wetzel's Pretzels, cut me some slack. That's what happens when you take the pooches.
All right, we're going to come back after the break. We're going to get you Cam's golf picks, best bets, and an unfortunate update on UMass versus Northern Illinois after the break.
Oh, no.
We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim don't leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's make it happen. It's Game Time Decisions on a Wednesday night. We're going to get you best bets and everything you need. Before we get out of here, before In-Game Live gets going, we've got Cam Stewart with us, though. Cam, golf, as always. I don't know when they tee off. Tomorrow, Friday, who knows?
I mean, later on tonight, Kev.
Yeah,
gotta get.
Had a
hey,
feeling.
They're in Dubai.
Had a feeling.
Gotta love it, right? What? Cheapest hotel in Dubai? What, like $5,000 US a night? These guys, I'll tell you, I love golf. But anyway, it's the DP World Tour Championship. This is what we're gonna do here. Rory McIlroy is the defending champion. Kevin, we don't do this very much, and Brady will tell you, what is the flaw of every golf gambler? Greed. We always want plus. But if you're going to give me Rory McIlroy, defending champion on the longest course on the tour at 7,700 yards, and he won last year, I will lay 50 cents with the top 5 for Rory McIlroy. I also have Nicolai Højgaard at 20-1 to win. He has won this event in 2023, and he finished great. Last week, he's in form, and he's one of the guys at the price is nuts. Like, Rory McIlroy is one of these guys that will probably win, but he's 3-1. Also, McIlroy, Marco Pench. This guy is the best guy you've never heard of. He's come on the tour gangbusters, almost won the Scottish Open, plus 120 for a top 10 for him. And Kevin, I did something unique this week, a parlay. I'm going to parlay Rory McIlroy top 10 with my pick to win Højgaard and turn it into plus 130. Not even a top 5. Rory is almost a lock, I think, for top 5, so top 10. And Højgaard, I like to win. Let's not put them together at a plus 130 price for all you people that like plus money. PGA Tour, we talk about it. These guys are in Bermuda. Life's tough. I'm going to take Matty Sneed, the pride of Germany, at 35-1. I'm touring the world, Kevin. I'm going from Germany. I'm going to have some pork knuckles, drink a few steins with your dad. Then I'm flying to Finland to sleep in an ice castle. And my neighbor is Sammy Valimaki, whose cousin plays for the Utah Mammoth, by the way, for all you people who like hockey. He's 38-1. Top 20s, Vincent the Butler Whaley. Love this guy. He is on fire, Kevin. I have stats to bring it up, too. He's finished top 20 in 2 of his last 4 events with a 4th. Eric Cole. I told Wetzel, don't laugh at me about Eric Cole. Great win player, too. Finished 10th last week. For a top 20, he's plus 140. And Michael Brennan, Kevin, since he's come on tour, what has he done? Oh, he's only won a tournament in a couple events. So I'm going to get this guy for a top 20 at plus 140. Watch out this week, guys. Low ball flight, win players, guys who can play well. That's what you need in Bermuda. Those wins are going to pick up, and Whaley, Cole, and Brennan fit the bill. Kevin, I'm betting on Bermuda golf and Dubai golf along with the NFL. I better hit some winners because I'll tell you, I'm going to have 118 active bets cooking by the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Cam, you are the best. We'll be rooting it in the entire way. My goodness, though, and this will be up Cam's alley. We've got to give people an update on the UMass Minutemen. And
tonight?
No, not at all. I'm not a maniac. But Kofsky is, Cam.
Oh, I love Kofsky.
Kofsky gets mad at me for doing this. I update his bets. Yeah. They're not going well, but then they turn around. He took UMass over 7.5 first-half team total. There's 10 minutes left. They have no points, and 3 different guys have thrown a pass. It's not going great, but there's a lot of game left, Cam. That's how I see it.
Hey, lose early, win late. Don't worry, Kofsky. I got your back. Woo-hoo. With those Temple Owls, they've been good to us this year. Sammy Yarnell, what are we doing here?
Look at him. He's on Bob Carrington.
Carrington, points, rebounds, assists. Oh, French fries. He's on the Bulls, and I do I'll tell you something. I know it's free. I'll tell you, I'm just loving the staff. Kevin, I'm on the Lakers plus 8 as well.
There we go. There we go.
I'll tell you another thing. They have a bet boost. SGA 30 or more. Kevin, it's plus 110 instead of minus 180 on 2 of my. I don't know why. I feel like I'm getting roped in. You want to give me SGA 30 for plus money? Sign me up. Even though he's always close to that number, anywhere between 29 and 35. I think we get there tonight.
To Cam's point, by the way, I was looking at this. SGA, I think, has scored 30 or more in 10 of 12 games. He's only scored more than 35 once. He has scored either between 30 and 32. I think
all the
5 of the 10 games. It's so bizarre.
It's right on the number.
Yeah.
It's always there. It's wild.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but that's
David
SGA.
Wetzel, they're coming up after you, Kev. They're going to have picks galore. I know Gabe. He's got a scroll like me. Oh, yeah. We can't wait. We got CFL Grey Cup features and national anthems and everything. We're going nuts.
I always love, too, sometimes when Gabe has a big card, and then he'll tweet out in the middle of the night listen, you got to watch the show if you want all of them. I can only tweet out so much, which is always the best.
It's like it's the dean's list, and I'm looking. I'm like, that's a long list, brother. It's longer than my arm.
Don't forget, we got Clippers money line late night, as well as that Amen Thompson over 22.5 points plus assists. We will be rooting on the Lake Show as well. North Florida hanging in there right now, catching 42. Cam, you are the best. In-game live is next, right here on Sports.